Welcome back to Von Blues Boxing, man. So what's going on with everybody, man? So yeah, I just had this thought for the video I wanted to do this morning. Just woke up before I get ready for work and stuff. Yeah, just online. That's why you always see me in the same sweater and stuff like that, guys, because I'm working from home most of the time. So yeah. So let me get into it. I wanted to do this. This is my series I created. Shout out to my boy True Boxing. He gave me this idea. It's called Next Move. I've said it on the videos again, and I just want to give him a shout out because he, my man the man loves the sport. He comes up with brilliant ideas, and I ain't gonna lie, I stole his idea from him, but I did call him, hit True on the phone and ask him like, hey, is it good? He like, yeah, it's fine. So this is Next Move Part 3, and this one will be Otto Wallin. Or Otto Wallin, whatever way you say it, you know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to make this next move for Otto because Otto's coming off a big win. He's coming off a win against Dominic Brazil. He's the past almost 2 years, Otto Wallin has had a pretty excellent rise, from having a good showing against Tyson Fury. You know what I'm saying? He had a good showing. He lost the fight, but he had a good showing, very good showing. We know what Otto did in that fight. It could have been possibly stopped, because of the cut, but hey, the refs let it keep going, but Otto made a good account of himself. So people started to pay attention to him. Then, he had a little time off, and then he came back and he fought Travis Kaufman. Now, Travis Kaufman is, he's a veteran of the sport. Travis has been a guy, who's been, a test for certain heavyweights and stuff like that. When they get to a certain level, Travis is that dude to test you, see if you're really ready for that top level. And he stopped Travis Kaufman in that fight. Travis Kaufman retired after the fight. You know what I'm saying? He was done, retired. Travis retired after the fight. And yeah, that was a cool win for him because that was a comeback fight for Otto. He hadn't been out for a minute, and it was a good opponent for somebody who's been out as long and where Otto was at. Then Otto got a good opportunity against Dominic Brazil this past Saturday. And man, he was impressive. Otto Wallin was impressive in that fight. I mean, dominated the fight. He just looked good offensively, defensively. He hurt Brazil multiple times. Had him tired in like the first couple of rounds, landed good straight right hands, counter punched real well. His defense was on point, good footwork. Otto had a good performance, dominated Dominic Brazil. And I know people gonna be like, well, Dominic Brazil ain't fought in a while, he was faded. But for Otto, that was a good step up. Dominic Brazil's challenged for 2 titles. Now, he's lost. He came up short. You stopped by AJ, stopped by Wilder. But at the same time, the man is a respectable heavyweight, especially for somebody like Otto who was trying to jump in the top 10. Dominic is that dude that gets you in the top 10 or, he gets back in the top 10. And he went in there and he just had a really solid performance. Now, the next 3 moves, I do 3 moves on the next moves that I think for the fighters. I think for Dominic Brazil, I'm going to start with the 3 fighters. I think I'm going to go with third. Not Dominic Brazil, Otto Wallin. I'm going to go with 3 fighters. I usually start with the third one, and I go with the one that I think is the next real option. So number 3, Luis Ortiz. King Kong Luis Ortiz is an excellent opponent. That's a top 10 heavyweight right there. That's a guy who's, if you really going to be a part of the top 10 or be a top 5 heavyweight, you got to beat somebody like Luis Ortiz. And Luis Ortiz, we know about Luis Ortiz. I know people criticize him about his age and this and that. But at the end of the day, Luis Ortiz, in my opinion, is one of the most avoided heavyweights for the past, let's say, 5 or 6 years. In my opinion, he's one of the most avoided heavyweights. Only 2 guys are really giving him offers. That was Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. And yeah, so I think he would be number 3. That's a dangerous opponent for Otto, but that's the fight to just solidify Otto Wallin. Like, yeah, he's a top 10 heavyweight. You can't no longer, you know what I'm saying? So number 3, that would be the third option. They're on PBC. So, we go with realistic options. Shout out to my boy True. We do realistic boxing options. And then at number 2 guy, I could see him fighting Robert Helenius. Robert Helenius is coming off a big win against Adam Kwanaki. You know what I'm saying? Stopped Adam Kwanaki in a fight that I don't think none of us thought he was going to win. Beat Adam Kwanaki, stopped him. That was a huge win. Became the WBA gold champion, part of the titles, You know how sanctioning bodies are in boxing. And he went in there and he got the win. He did it well. He got the win, stopped him. So that could be the second option. I think that's a real good option. That's another good opponent, another type of fight that steps him up and gets him closer to the top 10. You know what I'm saying? Robert Helenius. And then I think number 1 option, Charles Martin. Charles Martin is, Charles Martin just came off that win against Gerald Washington. I think that's a makeable fight. I think it's a good fight. I think fans would be interested in watching that fight to see how Otto does. I think Charles, that would be a good opponent for him. A guy who's on a, two guys that's, kind of on the up and up, and definitely Otto's on the up and up, and Charles is getting back to it. I think that's a heck of a fight. I think that is, I think that's the fight to make, because if Wilder doesn't have any interest in coming back and fighting Charles Martin for his first fight, then go that route. Otto Wallin and Charles Martin. I think that would be his next most realistic option. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, and it's a good heavyweight, another former IBF champion. Guy who's, fought good opponents in the heavyweight division, a known name, and something that, a fight that you could probably, you put on a card on Showtime, on PBC Showtime, maybe co-main event, or under, the third fight before, the fight before the co-main event, So I think that's his realistic next option. I think that's his next move. You're right there. I think that will be Otto Wallin's next move against Charles Martin. Now, I could be wrong, you know what I'm saying? Because we speak hypothetically, but we also try to come with real options. So I think that's one of the real options for Otto Wallin. So, yeah, man, just wanted to get that out there, on my video next move. I'll probably be dropping another one this week. Yeah, so y'all be good, be safe, man. Y'all have a good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever y'all at. Von Blues Boxing. I'm out.